$1.5 million a year. That's what an 8-figure brand reclaimed by taking back control of their Amazon marketplace. Here's how we made it happen. This was a fitness accessories brand, 5+ years on Amazon, a real business, real revenue, real customers. And they deleted their listings voluntarily and walked away from the platform entirely. They didn't leave because their sales were slow. They left because every single day felt like a losing war. Unauthorized resellers undercutting their price, taking over their listings. The brand they had spent years building quietly being harvested by people who had no right to it. So they did what felt like the only rational move. They left, and for 12 months, they stayed gone. If you're watching this, there's a good chance you made the same call, or you're thinking about it right now. You may have been told that operating on Amazon without the chaos of unauthorized sellers was impossible. I'm here to tell you that is a complete lie. Here's what this brand was doing before they found us, and I've seen the same exact pattern hundreds and hundreds of times. Brand notices they've got unauthorized resellers, they've got infringers. What do? Being a great entrepreneur, they take action. They go ahead and hire law firms, they go ahead and hire brand enforcement agencies, and soon the problem will be resolved. Months go by, and the agency or the law firm is unable to deliver, unable to remove those infringers or unauthorized resellers. So the brand owner will call and say, what's going on? Why do we still have these infringers, these violators, these bad actors? And they'll say, well, we're working on it. Give us another week. We're going to try this. We're going to try that. But here's the truth. Brand enforcement agencies run the same shallow playbook. File IP complaints, file IP complaints, file IP complaints. They may change the wording a little bit, but that's really what they're going to be doing. They don't have any other playbook besides those options. And really, it's just one option, right? Next, they may go to a litigation law firm and say, we've got this problem. We tried the brand enforcement agency. It didn't work. We've come to you. We're ready to spend more money, but you guys are the attorneys. We believe you guys have a little bit more teeth than what the brand enforcement agency may have. And of course, the IP law firm may use the only hammer, the only tool it has, and say, well, we can look at litigation. We can go ahead and sue them. And hopefully, if they're an honest law firm, they'll also mention litigation is going to take time and 6 figures in legal fees. And if the brand owner says, maybe that's a little bit too aggressive, what else can we do? They may say, well, we could send cease-and-desist letters. And maybe for 5% of brands, that may work. But the truth is, cease-and-desist letters don't really help. If you've got unauthorized sellers or infringers, bad actors, they don't care. Because the psychology of these infringers and bad actors is, if you sue me, fine, I'll deal with it. As long as you don't take my listings, my account away. I'm going to say that one more time. You can go ahead and sue them. They're okay with that. As long as you don't take the business that's making them money, because the business could go ahead and fund that lawsuit. So our client went ahead and after trying the brand enforcement agencies, did hire a law firm and said, we think litigation is a little bit too aggressive, so let's go ahead and try cease-and-desist letters. And those did work for some sellers, but after time, they end up coming back because you're not going to expect that law firm, that litigation law firm that you're paying $800 an hour to go ahead and sit down and monitor the listings week after week or daily to ensure that those infringers or bad actors don't come back, right? Or they don't take their products and now leave Amazon and go to Walmart or go to TikTok or go to eBay. They're not set up for that. They're there to do one thing, and that's to litigate. Anything else they do outside of that is really outside of their wheelhouse. Let's not even talk about their experience or their knowledge about the marketplaces and how marketplaces really function. Because the way we look at marketplaces, and if you're a seller, you'll completely understand this, is each marketplace is its own sovereign nation. They have their own rules. They have their own policies, right? That's how they operate. And sometimes, believe it or not, they pay more attention to their policies than the actual damn law, right? So our client tries the brand enforcement, doesn't work. tries a law firm, sends cease and desist letters, works for some, but they're still not happy. So they made the decision to go ahead and leave the marketplace entirely and said, you know what? We've got 8-figure business. We've got other channels. We've got brick and mortar stores we're selling to. We've got our own website. We're well off. Why do we want to spend so much time and money and energy and dedicate so much stress to a marketplace we're only doing $1.5 million on? So, as I said, they left. And that's really what the bad actors bet on, is that they could wear you down. They could be so resilient that you'll finally give up and either stop pursuing them or just stop selling on the marketplace entirely. Because now they're able to absorb all of the sales revenue from that marketplace. And that's exactly what happened in this case. So 12 months go by. Our client looks at his P&L report and says, you know what? If we're going to be getting ready to sell, that extra 1.5 million could really help us. And that's when they give us a call. And here's what happens next. During the call with this client, obviously I was astonished to hear about this issue. But I said, you know what? Give us 24 hours. Let me go ahead and have my team audit the listings, audit who these violators, these bad actors are, and then we could go ahead and talk tomorrow. And what my team found out is that most of them were domestic, unauthorized sellers. They were based here in the US. They were not foreign. And what we also found out is, like I said, is there was about 5 of them that had majority of the sales. And in total, that's about 1.5 million that they were taking away from this brand. And some of the listings these unauthorized sellers had created on their own, right? So we took a look at the client's website to see what exactly they're selling, but what policies, what terms do they have? And all of this is done with the idea of identifying material differences between what our client sells and what these unauthorized sellers are offering. So during the next call with the client, the next day, I share all of this with them and I ask, where do you think these infringers are getting these products? And he said, well, we sell to so many brick and mortar stores. We have international distributors that we sell to. So we really don't know. And we said, well, here's what we found out is that the marketplace itself on Amazon is dominated by about 4 or 5 unauthorized sellers. And if we could remove them, then we should be okay. Next is just monitoring, ensuring that people don't come back or they don't go to other channels, other platforms. And when I shared the names of those unauthorized sellers, he goes, we've been fighting those people for several years now. And apparently nothing was done about it. So we said, okay, that's good to know. And we did advise that if we remove them, we need to understand that they may go to other marketplaces. So we need to be persistent about this. So we went to work and we took a look at all the information that we had gathered, took a look at who these unauthorized resellers were, if there was any connection or any relationship between one and another. And what we did is what we call operating in stealth mode. We don't want the unauthorized sellers to know that our client is the one that's filing these complaints. And this is something that our client requested because he doesn't want any backlash, any retribution from these unauthorized sellers. Because again, these unauthorized sellers, they may have invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into inventory they may currently have and have not sold. We've given them permission for the last several years to go ahead and operate, go ahead and sell these products without any issues from us, right? So if you think about it, that is a bit of implied consent. We knew about it. We didn't do anything about it. So in their eyes, we gave them permission. So they may have invested a lot of money. So for that reason, we don't want to give them any reason to go ahead and do anything to our client's account or our client's brand that may jeopardize their business. And there's several things we've seen in the past that these bad actors can do, whether it's black hat methods or even gray hat methods that they could use. So we were very mindful of that. So everything that we did was not through public channels, but contacting certain people and certain departments at Amazon where we were fairly confident. Obviously, you're never 100% sure, but fairly confident that the brands were just going to be hit with violations, or sorry, the unauthorized sellers were going to be hit with violations, and Amazon would not mention that it's coming from us or the brand owner. So with that in mind, we went ahead and drafted the letters and sent it to the correct departments, the correct contacts, to ensure that the right people at Amazon took a look at our arguments and understood that this is what's best for Amazon, for Amazon's customers, and for our brand, our client's brand. And as a result of that, happy to report that within 3 months, 90% of the infringers, the unauthorized sellers, are gone. There's one or two that are left, and we're fairly confident within the next 2 to 3 months, those people will be removed too. And obviously, we'll continue monitoring these listings on Amazon and other marketplaces to ensure that they don't appear on other marketplaces. When we shared that news with the client, obviously he was extremely happy, but he did tell me one thing that still stuck with me. He said those other law firms and brand enforcement agencies that I work with, after a while, they told me, hey, I think it's impossible unless you want to go ahead and file a lawsuit. And that's something that I've also heard from other brands, is founders coming to me and telling me that, hey, this brand enforcement agency told me that it's impossible to remove these unless we file a lawsuit. And like I said, that's complete bullshit. That's not true. That's a lie. There's a lot that can be done. But when they tell you it's impossible, it just means that they ran out of options. They stopped looking for those creative options. They stopped understanding or learning how these marketplaces operate at a deeper level. That's really what they're telling you when they say it's impossible. And obviously that word, you may know this from other videos, but the word impossible is banned at our law firm, in my office, at home. And I think it's just a lazy answer. So super grateful we had the opportunity to help this client, but even more excited for him and what this does for his business, but also his valuation when he's ready to exit. We were able to reclaim back 1.5 million. And even if you take a conservative 20% profit margin, that's about $300,000 yearly revenue that we're able to deliver for this client, or annual profit for this client, $300,000. And if we just assume a 6x multiple for exit, that's $1.8 million in enterprise value that we were able to help with this client. These are the stories that I love. These are the results that I live for. And this is just one example, and we'll be sharing a lot more throughout these videos. But if you're thinking about joining Amazon, but you're afraid that infringers and unauthorized sellers may be harming your brand, your bottom line, just know that there's a lot of options you have. If you're already on Amazon and have unauthorized sellers or infringers, I'll leave a link below for you to request a brand audit, the same brand audit that we did for this client in this story. But otherwise, thank you for watching the video. Please go ahead and subscribe, and we'll have more videos like this coming up soon.